Good morning, minions, and welcome to this week's instalment of No More Mr. Fat Guy TV. Now, just to start this week, there's a few things that I want to mention. First of all, although I'm recording this at approximately 7 a.m. On a Friday morning, for the minions that are based over in America, an awful lot of you, it's still Thursday. So I've mentioned it on the page, and I'll mention it here on the video now. Happy Thanksgiving. I know it's a massive celebration and a day of all kinds of family activities and going out. I think there's lots of runs going on, turkey runs and things like that. So I hope you're all having an amazing day. I, for one, am a massive fan of the multicultural society that we have here in Australia. I feel we should adopt everything like that around the world, sort of Thanksgiving and any other festivals, and basically incorporate those into the Australian system and have a public holiday for every single one of them. But yeah, have a great day. Hope you're having a great time, and hope you're going to go and run all that food and drink off. A couple of other things that obviously tomorrow is the last day of November, and that really will mark the end point for two things. First of all, the 30-day challenge. As I say, at the beginning of this month, I basically put out the challenge that for people to basically spend 30 days focusing on a habit that they either wanted to add, change, or remove from their lives. For me, that was nail biting, nail picking. I would say I've been about 75% successful, so it's not a complete failure. So I will continue next month or just continue from now on to try and focus on that and be conscious of, I've become aware of certain behaviours over the last month, so that's good. There have been a couple of points where I've just suddenly found myself unable to stop, picking away. Become aware of some of the trigger points for that, so I'm sure that's something I can build on. I think I'm also going to continue trying to add a habit or change a habit every 30 days or every month. I think my next one is probably to get a little bit more organised still. I mean, I've been getting there with organisation, but I think if I focus on that, then, in the same way that I have with the nails, then there'll be some significant changes there. But I hope you've all been doing really well with your own 30-day challenge. I hope you've seen the benefit of having focus on something, and hopefully you can incorporate that as part of your sort of regular routine, that you can just focus on things that, take things one by one that you want to add or change or remove from your life, and just take that technique and basically use that to flesh out and build the life that you want. The other thing about the end of November is it's the end of Movember, so this will be the last time that you see the sleazy, dodgy car salesman. So this is the end result for the whole of 30 days of growth. It's quite minimalist this year because I went for the so-called Gable look. So it's not a big bushy, it's not an 80s porn star mo, and it's not a chopper. It's not halfway across my face. It's been quite minimal. And you'll notice today that I'm sporting the world's worst Clark Gable impersonation. I was just trying to just do something a bit fun in the office today. We're having a end of November raffle, and so I thought I'd try and have a bit of fun and kind of do a Clark Gable sort of look. But as you can see, it's maybe not quite there. So that's really, I guess that's the news type, sort of housekeeping information. As you know, every week I like to have a topic that I like to talk about, and I've sort of got a couple this week that I've been thinking about, and kind of not too sure which way round to tackle them. I think really, they're both. One in particular is quite personal in some ways, but hopefully it'll be of help to people, and the other one's a bit more general, but they kind of relate to each other. So I think I'll start off really. The first topic is really about change and sort of what happens when you basically set out to make change, or even if you set out to make small changes in your life, and what potentially could happen. This comes from a perspective, and again, none of this stuff is scripted, so this will be as if, as always, as if I'm just sat talking to you, and as many people who know me will attest. If you have a conversation with me, quite often it can go off on tangents, so please bear with me. But in terms of change, I think the best way to put it is that, or the best way to start is to say that over the last 2 years, at least the last 2 years, there's been this process of change going on in my life, and that's really picked up speed since completing the Perth Marathon in June. And it's now the end of November. So that's in the past sort of 5 months, so half a year maybe. It's really began to pick up speed as sort of things started to click and started to come together. And a lot of people will set out in life to set out to make changes. They might set out to get fit, they might set out to get healthy, they might set out to make other changes. But I guess you don't always necessarily know what's going to be on the other side, because you sort of start out with an end in mind. Like in my case, I wanted to get fit and healthy, and to kind of make that, I guess to make that measurable, is I basically said, get to the point where I'm able to run a marathon, which a heck of a lot of people, including myself, basically couldn't believe that at all. But that was realistic. That was really it. That was the whole thing. That was what I had in mind, and that was going to be an end point, and that was the end. That was the end of the whole thing. That was the sum of the whole project was literally, at the end of it, I would be fit, I'd be healthy, and then I would carry on pretty much imagining, I guess, the same life, only not getting out of breath, and not being maybe a year or two away from a heart attack. So that kind of thing. And what actually happened along the way was quite unexpected, and I guess this is sort of to serve as not as a warning, but just so that you know what you might expect if you do set out on this kind of path, is that you might think you're going to be getting, you might be reaching a certain goal, or you might be achieving certain things, and certain changes might be going to occur in your life, and then you get to a point where you've got what you want. But other things can happen along the way that you didn't plan for. Other changes might occur that you didn't even suspect. Other things could rear their head that you'd never even thought about. And that's certainly been my experience. I mean, along the way, I would say I started out hating an absolute hatred of running. So when I discovered that I enjoy running, and that running has become a bit of a passion, and running, that I love running, has really was a bit of a revelation and a bit of a shock. And there's kind of been other things along the way as well. When you sort of establish, for me, making these kind of changes is essential. I think if you try and get fit and healthy, if you're not already fit and healthy, I think getting fit and healthy provides a solid foundation for so much else in your life. And I think that's what I've discovered has happened with me, is that along the way to getting fit and healthy is the fact that basically my thinking's got clearer, my energy levels have increased dramatically, confidence levels have improved quite significantly, and all that kind of stuff combines to make you really stop and think about all kind of other areas of your life, and to really take stock of where you are, and to take stock of the life that you've built for yourself. And in some ways that can be quite confronting. I mean, I did mention last week that I'd basically restarted, I've got a fresh new account on Facebook, because when I was going through some of the older stuff that I'd posted on Facebook, with my old mindset and my old perspectives and my old attitudes, that really that I found that quite confronting. I was really coming face to face with the old me that I'd just spent so much time sort of shedding and leaving behind. So you can end up having to face things like that maybe you didn't expect to, you didn't expect that you would be facing up to yourself in quite that way. But it's a good thing. sometimes it might not necessarily feel like it. You might kind of think, oh, this is just, just too much, or this isn't what I expected, or this has taken me by surprise. But if you work through it, and if you basically face up to any of the issues that arise along the way, and you basically work through them and deal with them, and get to the point so that they're resolved within yourself or whatever. It is a worthwhile process. It is worth doing, and you'll find that by going through that sort of those transformations and going through those transformative processes, and burning off some of the old issues and stuff that's been holding you back, that you really do end up with this completely fresh perspective on life. So along with the energy and the passion and sort of the clearer thinking and and just a better lifestyle, you suddenly find that the way that you view life and the way that you view things and the way that you view certain situations, you get so much more positive in there, and the negative goes, and so everything really starts to the whole is greater than the sum of the parts, as they say. And really, you take all those individual things, all those individual improvements in your life, and realistically, you can expect to be completely transformed. And I am living proof of that. I will quite happily tell anyone that if you set out, you think you set out just to take up running as a way of getting fit. The end result could well be that you completely change your life, and that's that'll be that. And when that happens, that'll be completely amazing for you. I'm not promising it'll happen. Maybe you don't need to change as much as I did, but just be aware that those rewards are there, but the challenges are there as well, and you may at certain times find that you're facing up to some of your old beliefs. And some of your old, some of the things that have been part of your life for a long time, you may suddenly find that sort of like some of the interest you have, some of the even friendships you have, relationships you have. In my case, even with my job, 12 months ago, I was writing some really negative stuff on a blog that no longer exists, and basically desperate to get out of my day job, because I didn't feel it was serving me. I just, all I could see is that I wanted to make changes. I wanted to get out of my job, and I wanted to go and set up a business where I was basically my own boss, and I had complete independence, and I could, and realistically, where I am now, looking at doing lots of running next year, looking at doing a couple of marathons or more next year, looking at trying to put more and more effort into setting up this run from Perth to Brisbane. It's dawned on me in the last few weeks that where I am at the moment is actually serving my purpose extremely well. It's paying the bills without any stress. I'm not having to worry about setting up a brand new business just yet, and I will do. But right now, where I am, it's given me, let's say the bills are paid reliably. My hours are not, I work for government. My hours are not particularly stressy, not like they were in certain roles I've had in private sector. It's not to say we don't work, but some of the expectations aren't necessarily there. The role is serving me well, but I've never seen that until recently. I'd never seen that, and it took a whole shift of perspective to suddenly realise that some of the things in my life at the moment are. Some things aren't serving me. Certain interests and things have dropped by the wayside, and that's fair enough. That's fine. Some of the things that I thought weren't serving me actually turn out that they are serving a purpose at the moment. And there's just little subtle things like that once you start developing that clearer mindset and develop an understanding of exactly where you want to get to, you can start figuring out that certain things in your life are supporting that or not supporting that, and helping you to get where you are. And once you know what's supporting and what isn't, what's actually feeding into getting to where you want to be, then and what isn't, then you'll know which things to ditch and basically which things to just hold on to for a bit longer. So, yeah, that's really that's what I've got to say on the subject of change, I guess. And that really, for me, the vehicle for that has been running, and that's really the other topic that I wanted to touch on. No matter what you think about running, you may currently be, just imagine I don't know, let me just think that maybe you're in a position where I was, and maybe, it's like 40 years old, 42 years old, whatever, unfit, desk-bound, probably laughing at people who get up in the morning and exercise like I used to. Maybe you're still smoking, maybe you're drinking, maybe you're eating the bad food like I was. You're basically killing yourself, and that's what I was doing. I was killing myself. At the end of the day, we're all going to die. But it depends how much you enjoy life along the way. Really, I mean, if you want to make sure that it's a nice long life that's full of energy and vitality and enjoyment and experiences, then probably a lot of the stuff that I was doing, while at the time felt like I was having a good time. I mean, going out and getting smashed on at the pub, drinking beer and smoking and having a laugh with mates. You're making jokes like, I gave up drinking and smoking, I'm not going to live longer, but it just feel like it. But you kind of justify, you're justifying in your own mind sort of some really bad lifestyle choices. Because I can tell you now that getting fit and healthy just feels so much better. I actually I get so much more enjoyment out of taking part in a 5k or a 10k run than I ever did going to the pub, and that's that's been a complete shock to me, to be honest. I mean, me going, spending a Sunday morning running around the river for 10 kilometres. Old me would have just been laughing and going, why don't you just come down to the pub and have half a dozen pints of Guinness and watch the football on the big screen. But realistically, there's this energy and this feeling that you get, and this level of enjoyment of life, and you don't get hungover from going for a run. Okay, you wake up in the morning, you got sore legs, and you might need to, get the foam roller out, or you might need to just go out for a light run to just get the blood pumping. But having sore legs for a couple of days is not the same as a hangover. A hangover is just a sign that you really should be thinking about making better choices. That's not to preach, I mean, I still enjoy some bad food at times. I still enjoy having the occasional beer and the occasional wine. You don't give it all up and become an absolute goody-goody, but just maybe you've got to look at your health and your fitness. And for me, running, no matter what you think of it, it's got to be the simplest, and to my mind, the simplest and easiest and in many ways the best form of exercise, the best sport there is, and the most accessible that there is for anybody to take up. You literally put on a pair of shoes and shorts and a shirt, and you don't have to get out there and break any records. All you need to do is get out there. You don't even have to get out there and run. I mean, you can get out there and walk. Once you get out there and you're walking on a regular basis, and then start feeding in a little bit of light jogging in there. So maybe a slow run for 30 seconds, and then walk for a couple of minutes, and then another 30 seconds. And what happens over time is you'll find that 30 seconds becomes a minute, and then that minute becomes 2 minutes, and then you'll suddenly find you're able to run a kilometre, and then you're able to run a mile, and then you're able to run eventually 5 kilometres. It may not be quick, it doesn't matter. I mean, you don't have to be running at a pace that's going to break any records, or you may not even be interested in taking part in organised events and races, but there's a heck of a lot of satisfaction is just by taking just by really starting out, knowing that you can't. You literally can't run. I mean, I couldn't run. If I ran for the bus, I was out of breath. If I climbed stairs, I was out of breath. So running for the bus was never really happened. I kind of just shuffled a little bit faster than than my normal slow walk, and absolutely like wore myself out. I'd literally get on the bus wheezing, and I'd probably been smoking a cigarette just before as well. But you go to take yourself from that point, and then suddenly find that you've built step by step and little by little, so you get to the point where you're running a kilometre, and then running like 5 and 10, and maybe you're going to aim and try and do a marathon. I mean, you don't have to. I mean, that was just the crazy goal I put out there. But the feeling you get when you get to that point, when you get to those kind of milestones, and then look back and realise. I mean, in my case, I can look back at times that I've taken for doing certain distances, as well as pictures of myself. Let's say we've got Movember now, and I posted a picture on the Facebook page recently. There was an old Movember picture from about 6 years ago, where I basically got a round face and incredibly sad eyes, and the latest picture, my eyes are like brighter and sparkling because my body internally is healthier, so my eyes have got a bit more brightness to them, and not so dull and sad looking anymore. But you kind of you start making those comparisons, and you start looking back, and you can see that something as simple as running on a regular basis can really make such massive massive changes and have such significant impacts in your life. And running, it's kind of cliched, but running really does teach you a whole bunch of life lessons, because you don't get there overnight. And you can't push it either. You can't find a way of just going from being unable to run to being able to run 10 kilometres in an hour. You literally have to do the work. You have to take time, and you have to put in effort, and you have to be persistent, and you have to be focused. You've got to make certain sacrifices, like as in, you've got to make time for doing this kind of thing. But in order, if you actually do put in that effort, then the rewards are there. And that really is just a general statement on life, is that you don't get anything really if you don't put in the effort. I mean, it might look like certain people have been very lucky in life, and that certain things have come their way, and people get things they don't deserve, and you get incredibly jealous of them and whatever. But realistically, in the vast majority of cases, the way that life works is if you put in the effort over time, and you remain focused, and you basically have a clear vision of where you want to get to, and you just take those steps that are necessary to get to where you want to get to, as I going back to my first part, to have the life that you want, to make changes that you want, then really, running is a very simple and ideal metaphor for that, because every step of the way, every part of this journey has the improvements I've made with my running, and the rewards that running has given me, and the passion that I've developed for running, really does have its parallel in life, and in every situation in life, and it's taught me, or it's teaching me patience and persistence. It's teaching me focus. It's certainly brought an added level of discipline to my life. That maybe wasn't there before, and that definitely wasn't there before. I mean, I just didn't stick to things because basically I'd get frustrated when things weren't working out, and just giving up. And I don't do that anymore, because I do, like I had my run this morning. It was like I suddenly realised that I was supposed to be doing 6-minute kilometres, and I was consistently getting just below that. But then also the thought of, to get to another particular point, to get to say a 50-minute 10k run, is that I'd have to shave off even more time. And it's like, my initial thought was, I don't know, that's a big step. And then, just remembering then that big step is actually comprised of just a series of little steps. So, you get these little lessons and reminders along the way. Just from a simple, just by, this morning was just literally running up and down a kilometre section of road near my house, but it just it gave me a little reminder, and it gave me another little lesson, and those sort of things happen all the time, and I think that's the power and the beauty of running. It is so simple, it's so accessible, anybody can do it, and I think if you're serious about if you're really serious about making changes to your life and getting healthy and getting fit, and just trying to make sure that, you know, doing as much as you can to make sure that you get as long a life as you possibly can, and one that's vibrant and full of energy and vitality, and adventure, and having fun. You know, give running a good long hard look, because from running I've met a whole bunch of new friends, made some great friendships. I've had a lot of fun. I've learned a lot of lessons. I've learned a heck of a lot about myself. I've improved myself no end. I have changed my life beyond even my recognition. I mean, there are people that know me from the past that say they don't recognise my life now. I certainly don't recognise. I don't recognise my old self. And there are people like new friends that maybe one or two that have been privy to some of the old blogs and so on, that can't believe that it's the same person, you know. And that's the kind of thing that those are the sort of changes and the rewards and the benefits and the challenges that I personally have got from running. And if you take it up and you stick with it and you really, give it a good go, I guarantee that running will reward you as well. So on that note, I'll speak to you next week, and bye.